Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Rome, and I'm here with just, I think, a cargo review short. So I've got a couple cargo reviews that are already edited and put up, and they're not perfect, and they were just kind of filmed on the seat of my pants, so to speak, as I was trying out some different ships. And I like them, but they could be better. And one of the ways they could be better is if I actually had kind of a score I could give things other than yeah, I think it's okay, here's my vague opinions, right? Some numbers I could give you. And so I've sat down to kind of figure out what I think are the medium cargo haulers of the game right now. And there's a couple extras that I haven't flown yet, Crusader C1 Spirit and the RSI Zeus Mark II. And there's some surprises. So I've kind of and I'll do individual videos for each of these at some point. They're a little more finalized. But the things I decided were important to me were total cargo, ease of cargo loading. How easy is it to get that in there, right? How many trips does it take me to run a member medium mission, right? So we're talking up to, about 115-ish cargo total, and mostly 8s, right? Within the realms of what they're having you move. So 8 SCU containers. So 4x4, right? Well, 4x2, I guess. Load efficiency. What percentage of my total cargo space can I put those 8s in? Right, that's the idea. How many 8s, how many larger containers can I put in? Because not only is that going to determine things like number of trips, but it's also going to determine things like if I'm going to use this for commodity trading, if I can only fit 2s or 4s in there, it's going to take me a lot longer to load than if I can fit 8s or 12s or 16s, right? So this load efficiency is mostly based on how many 8 SU containers you can fit in easily, right? Now, that's also going to make it easier to do 16 and 24 and 32s in some cases, right? But I think for medium missions, 8 is the place. Oops, and I did a hand gesture, and now we're tracking. I don't know. I had it tracking. I don't know. I did it on accident, and then I turned it off on purpose, and now I don't know how to turn it back on again. Does it have a tractor beam? Right? Does it have a built-in one, or do you need to bring one with you? Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't use the built-in tractor beam very often, so I've just made this one point. I find it's usually easier. I got to get out to raise or lower cargo elevators or whatever anyway. So I'm already out. I can position myself a little bit better to see what I'm doing. And I can load from the front or the back on some ships like the Constellation Taurus, which does have a tractor beam. I can load from anywhere on the Argo Raft, right, which doesn't have one. So generally, I just get out. But I think for a lot of people, that's an issue, right? How much range? How do I have to stop to refuel to get across? Am I truly interstellar, where I'm going to be able to jump from one system? I did it again. Turn it on. From one gateway all the way across the system to another gateway and out without having to refuel in between, right? Now, we don't do a lot of that at the moment, but can I get all the way across the system one time, or do I need to refuel? Now, everything I've tested so far has been able to make all the jumps I've needed it to make, but, that's an important thing going forward especially. And, sometimes the game tells you you're refueled and you're not. Do you have enough to make that extra jump without refueling, without having to turn around and go back, right? How hard is it to park? Can you get it in the drive forward ones? Can you get it in the drop down ones? That's going to be a couple things. That's going to come down to the dimensions. That's going to come down to the handling, all right, and how easy it is to move around. Handling. Can you put it where you want to put it? Right? Whether that be landing it out on out in the middle of nowhere, whether that's using it in a multi-role to go mining, to go bunker busting, right? Where can you put it? How easy is it to turn around? Not only how hard is it to park, but how easy is it to get to the parking garage within the 100 seconds they give you, right? If they give you that parking bay all the way on the other side of the station, can you get there before the door closes, right? So that's going to be a few things in there, right? Cost. This is just going to be a straight percentage. The most expensive versus the least expensive. And I've put a lot of points, a lot of thought into cost. You can see there's a lot of stuff down here. There's both the cost in dollars, right? And this is the points based on how much it costs versus this. So it's 1 divided by its cost divided by the most expensive cost, right? And then how many points did that give you? So that's a 1.67. So 1 divided by 150 divided by 250 gives us 1.67 here. Same thing to purchase the with in-game UEC. So a percentage of this divided by that and make that a fraction, 1.89, and rent as well, right? So if it's available for all three. Is there a war bond in the game right now that's going to bring that cost down a little bit? And it just so happens that this plus this plus this without fractions gave us a 7. So I just subtracted 2 from the number, and that gives us our cost anywhere from a 5 to a 1 at this point. Now, Zeus, we're guessing a little bit, right? We don't know what it's going to cost in game. I'm expecting it's going to be very similar to the Freelancer Max. There is a war bond out for it right now that brings its cost in dollars down to exactly the same thing. So I've guessed a little bit there, and I haven't flown the Crusader the C1, so ease of cargo loading, I can guess, don't know. Bugs and polish, no idea. Now, again, that gets us to our next one, bugs and polish. Do I not really have any? Are there visual bugs? Are there functional bugs? Are there graphical bugs? I've just kind of made it a 1 to 3. Essentially, nothing to speak of, maybe a few graphical ones that don't really hurt anything, some flickering here and there, versus I took off a point if it's missing things like all the buttons to open and close the doors, right, from a polish standpoint. Or if there's functional bugs, for instance, the Constellation Taurus shutting down because it continues to turn on stuff and shut down the quantum jump over and over and over again, right? Now, this is something that probably should be more points because it affects your experience day to day a lot more, but it's also something that's going to get fixed in the long run. So if you're deciding whether to buy this ship now, I mean, obviously all these numbers are subject to change, but they're probably within the realm of reasonable, right? Within cargo, right? Without having to change a few full rework, cargo is probably going to stay the same, right? Because otherwise the ship has to change dramatically in size one way or the other. Things like shields and gunpowder and hit points, combat stuff, that can change dramatically. We've seen it change dramatically recently for a lot of those. But just for cargo, I don't expect huge changes in any of this. Maybe things like fuel range, that could change. Cool. Do I think it's cool? This is purely subjective on my part. Some of them I think are really cool. Some of them I think are kind of I think they're kind of generic. And then that gets us 42 points because 42, right? Realistically, some of these were massaged to make 42 points total. So then we've got 7 bonus points to take us up to 50. So we could give, I guess, a score of 100 by doubling that, right? But can you put vehicles in it? Can you put just a hover bike or something small? Can you put a miner in it? Can you put an Ursa in it? That's really all we're looking for here. We're not trying to get a tank. You're going to have to get up to large cargo to think about, can you put a tank in, right? Non-grid storage. We have a cargo grid, whatever that may be. Can you fit more in? In this case, the Constellation Taurus, I can fit a lot more in. In fact, I can fit a lot more 8s in. I can fit 21 8s in a Constellation Taurus, right? Without even thinking about that extra 12 or whatever is up in that top little hidden secret room, right? Do we need to put points in for smuggling? You guys let me know. Do we need to make an extra point for a shielded smuggler room? I don't think anything here has one except for the Taurus. That's not true. The Freelancer has that extra room. I don't know if it's shielded though. You guys let me know. Is smuggling a thing? Because there are a handful of ships. I can't think what it's called. The Mercury Star Cruiser, whatever it is, the one that's meant to be data. I know that has a shielded cargo room, and I think that one at the top of the Constellation is also shielded. You guys let me know. Is a smuggling cargo important to you guys? Anyway, so can you put vehicles? How big are vehicles? That's going to affect ultimately somewhat to do with your multi-role, right? But it's also just nice and convenient to have. You could put, an Atlas in there to do cargo loading to help you with that, something along those lines, right? Non-grid storage, I've already talked about that, and multi-role. Does it do other stuff? Now, obviously, part of that's can it carry a vehicle, but also, can it hold its own in a fight like the Drake Corsair? And I'm told the Crusader, I haven't flown it, but the Crusader, for what it is, I'm told is one of the best cheap multi-role game ships in the game, right? It can carry cargo. I know it can fight. Can it carry a ship? I don't know yet. I haven't driven one yet. We're going to find out that. And there's some surprises. The Taurus did remarkably well. In fact, it beat my Corsair as just a straight cargo. that's not a surprise per se. The bugs for me are what kill the Taurus, not the rest of this. And it kills it dramatically for me. These both have handling issues. The Taurus is really long, which means it's really hard to drop into a thing, whereas the Corsair is really tall when you're trying to park it, and it's unparkable width wide in a medium anyway. You have to fold the wings up. So these are both ones that barely fit into some of the cargos. The Corsair, it's just such a good daily driver. It does so much else well. And but in the multi-role, the Taurus also is really, really good. Again, it's just the bugs, because I can fit 2 vehicles in it really well, an Ursa and an Ursa, or a Miner and an Ursa. And then put extra storage for things like the mining and the loot up in the small hold up top. The Taurus, in theory, when it works, is going to be a spectacular ship. It's just now that it sucks because of some quality of life issues, right? But yeah, right now the Freelancer and the Argo are kind of the top of my total from just a straight cargo standpoint. But both of these could come up with another 7 points really, really easy. If they're easy to park, 4 or 5, don't know. I think this one, because of its width, it's a really wide ship, is going to really be difficult both to drive in forward, not so much because you can center. It's going to be difficult more to drop in because of that width. I think it's going to be pretty easy even side to side just because you can go in centered, right? As long as the cockpit's in the center of that dimension, it's not too bad. So that one's probably just going to be difficult to drop in. The Zeus is really small dimensionally. The smallest of, well, it's a little wider than the Freelancer. Or a little longer than the Freelancer, right? But those are both well within, right? Because you can get a 61 inch. So those are both there. And it's the same width. And it's narrow. So I think this is going to be a 5 right here. Wherever it is. Ease of, did I already type it in? Oh, I guessed. I guessed on ease of parking, didn't I? Yes, I did. I'm reasonably certain those numbers are going to be pretty cool based on its handling and everything else. This got docked again because it's so stupid wide. Why did I dock it for handling? Pitch yaw roll 36 101. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have as much, but it's got really good boost back. I don't know. I suspect this is probably going to be a 4 as well. In fact, I'm going to make it a 4 now. But that's subject to change because I haven't driven it yet. So seat of the pants is huge in this case, right? Seat of the pants says this is super easy to drive and this is a pain in the ass. But when you look at pitch yaw roll, it's actually got better pitch yaw roll. When you look at its dimensions, it's actually smaller dimensionally as long as you keep the landing gears up. Once you put the landing gears down, all of a sudden this becomes a much different beast to park. But I'm going to try parking it with the landing gears up and just the VTOL on. But it's extra steps, right? So will it do it? Yeah. However, ease of parking, there's some extra steps there to do. So combination of it feels like a pig, mostly because I think this backwards boost, it doesn't stop at all well. But then the fact that you have to make sure the VTOL's down, you got to be careful, you got to make sure you can't put the landing gear down till you get in, stuff like that, right? Kind of messes with you. And this is just a seat of the pants. It's got great pitch yaw roll. It's just the braking that absolutely crushes me on this one. Maybe it should be a 3, but it doesn't feel nearly as good to drive as either of these, even though they're much kind of bigger ships, even with worse pitch yaw roll. So this one, this one is worse than its numbers should say. It's like a Celica versus a Miata. The Celica had better numbers across the board, and yet a Miata whooped its ass at the track every day, right? That's where this is. This is the worse than some of its handling parts, right? Whereas this is probably better than the sum of its parts, and I expect the Zeus to fall in there somewhere as well. But anyway, so we could get probably 4 points on each of these because you can't load from any direction. You're going to have to come in from a door. I'm not sure how wide that door is yet per se on these. That might knock it a little bit, but I'm expecting 4 points there. If these have good polish right now, 2 to 3, so we're looking at 6 to 7 points added to each of this. If that's 7 points, that becomes a 32. It becomes our instant winner, and this becomes a 31 that's tied with it. And from a cost standpoint, they're right there as well, right? So This one, especially with multi-roll, all of a sudden, because there's no multi-rolls for Raft, it does this and only this, right? So if you get up to, say, a 31 or a 32 here, then you could get some vehicles in there. Maybe you get 2 more points here, and then I don't know how much off-grid, like we can get a little extra in the Freelancer. We get another point here. We could easily get, I don't know. This might be the winner all day long. It might be the Crusader. And the Zeus could be very well as well. I don't know. We're going to see. I'm going to have to pay real money for a Zeus to try it, but I can rent a C1 in game. So anyway, this is more rambly than I expected it to be, but I just want you guys to know I'm thinking about this. There'll be some more in-depth cargo reviews. Hopefully they won't be very long. Hopefully they'll be able to get through them quickly, because I'll have everything kind of laid out and we'll have a format and we can snap our way through them pretty quick. But I wanted to be able to give you some more kind of crunchy numbers to base your decisions on, rather than just mine, yeah, I think it's good. I like it. I don't like it. The bugs kill it, right? I want to give you some more. But based on cargo. So this is my medium cargo. This is based on being able to do a cargo run potentially in 2 runs. The Drake is pushing that. I'll be honest with you a little bit. The Drake is pushing that, which is why I got 0 points for number of trips, because there's going to be some mediums that it's going to take 3 trips to do. But it'll be able to do some of them, I think, in 2. How you get lucky with that. Like, can you fit an entire cargo run in once? So it's not really number of trips. It's, can you fit an entire run in? Because a lot of these are 2, 3, 4 runs, right? And we'll talk about that maybe in the future, like the within the videos of each, like the efficiency. How much does it hurt you to only be able to get half the load in? If it's everything, if it's a one stop, if it's a direct 112 from one place to the next and you have to do double the trips, that's fine. But if it's something where you get part of it here and part of it here and it all has to be delivered here, or you get all of it here but part of it's delivered here and here, well then all of a sudden you're just talking 1 extra trip out of 3, so it's 4 trips instead of 3 trips. Like, it's a percentage based, and the Drake can definitely do that without any more loss of efficiency of any of the other smallest. So it's in here. It also has more total cargo than the Crusader does, but the Crusader just has a more efficient cargo bay, right? So it can do more with it. So it's in here, but then we'll do a small one. We're not talking the 2, 3, 4s. We're talking the 20s to 40s. Something that it's going to take too many trips to do on a medium to make it worth your money, but something that's going to be able to do multiple smalls or very smalls if you're efficient. So we'll do that. And then we'll try large. That's obviously more expensive. I only own one of the larges that you can get, and that's a Carrack. Now, I could trade up pretty easily to get into an A1 Hercules for not too much more money, and try that. But I can only own one or the other at the time, and going up to one is going to get rid of the other one. So there's some thought there, because the Carrack's it's not great now, but most of what the Carrack can do is not in the game mechanically, like drones, AI splinters to run all your extra guns, right? The cargo bays the modular bays don't drop down yet, because at some point I expect you'll be able to swap those in or out completely, but if nothing else, you'll be able to drive in and out of them, which you can't do yet. Whereas the Hercules is pretty much feature complete now. It's more money. It does what it does right now. It's not going to get probably significantly better in the future. Maybe splinters for some AI guns, but that's about it. And I don't know that it has a medical bay. I have to go do a tour of it, because there's one in Lorville, maybe. I think there's one in Lorville that you can walk through. Anyway, but a Caterpillar I could get a hold of. I've got a Carrack. Is that all I can do for large? So realistically, I could fly 3 of them. If I trade my Carrack in for the Hercules, that'll give me 2. The Caterpillar I think you can buy, and I don't think it's terrible. So that'll give me 3. I don't think I can get a Hall B or Hall C without having to buy like the $2,500 package. That's out. $100 here or there, a couple $100 here, there, maybe even, you know, okay. I can rationalize that, but the $2,500 or whatever, not so much. Maybe if we start making more money, then we could look. I don't know if they're even purchasable in game. Let's look real fast. Hold on. Let me bring this over. Whoops. No. Can you guys see that? Let me hide me. Let's go vehicles to pledge. Who makes those? I have the Hall A. Is that MISC? I don't think the D is available. I know it says it is. All right, one more check here. We're in the pledge store at the moment. Let's go ships. Let's just cruise over here to MISC real quick. Hall A is purchasable. That's it. The others are not. I was going to say, I didn't think they were. Not to fly in. Are they purchasable at all? Hall A. Hall B, unavailable for purchase, concept only. Hall C is available, but unavailable. I mean, it's flight ready, but it's unavailable. It's $500. Right? Hall D, in concept. Hall E, in concept. So only Hall A and Hall C are flight ready, but only available, only the A is available to purchase right now. Obviously, the Hall A will be in my light carrier. It's probably the king of the small carriers. What do we have on page 2? Starlancer Max. That's another one that's going to come in that medium at some point. But again, I don't think I can buy it. Is it available in-game to buy? Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's not available to buy at all, in-game or otherwise. I think if we go to we go to packages, packs. I think you can get the Hall C with a pack, and that's where I came up with that $2,500 part from. That's not what I'm looking for. Standalone gear. Hold on, other. Game packages? Maybe it's under game packages. Here we go. So you're like your starting packages, right? So I think there's a really big stupid one here. So here you go. This one, right? You got your Explorer pack. That one looks really cool, actually. Now I'm like, can I swing that? Not unless you guys subscribe, like, comment, and become a member. That's what that comes down to, right? These big ones come down to that. That one looks cool. The Escort pack is that just. Hold on, I gotta see what's in this one. It has nothing to do with cargo. I do like the Hammerhead. A Hammerhead, a Saber, a Defender, a Super Hornet Mark I, a Gladius, and a Terrapin. Oh, that's a good pack. That's a good pack. I don't know, guys. We might have to use some of that extra money. Trying to pay down the credit cards, not helping here, right? Now we got the Exploration pack here. This comes with a Carrack, Pisces, a Cyclone, a Terrapin, a Dragonfly, a Freelance Durer, an Explorer, an Exploration 600 I exploration module. And does it come with... I'm not sure what this is. Is that just the name of the ship? I guess it's the ship? Oh, I guess you could get maybe the Touring or the Explorer? No, it's the Exploration. I don't know. I'm assuming that's the full ship, right? That's a good one too. The only thing I have double up on that is... I've got a Dragonfly and the Carrack. But if I were to upgrade the Carrack to the Hercules and then get this to get it back, okay, that's a possibility, right? Again, it's going to take some extra money here somewhere in the realm, you know. But considering how expensive the Carrack is as a percentage of that, Tycoon Pack, I'm assuming this is all of the, I don't know, can you get it in that? I'm assuming this is like all of the Prospector and Salvage. There, you can get the Hull C in this, kind of your mining and your industrial. Right, not necessarily just transport, right? Most of these are industrial, some support. So you can get the Hull C in that. That'd be one way to get it. Or the Convoy Pack here for 3,500. So 2,500. See, this is starting to get out of the realm of me being able to rationalize. This, maybe, right? But we start to get to that, even though it's all good stuff. Like, I don't have a problem with any of it. So now we get to the Convoy. You'll get a Hull D when you get one. You'll get the Merchantman. You'll get the Starlifter as part of this. You get a Caterpillar. You get a Starfarer. You get a Vulcan. Apollo Triage, that's a good one. Freelancer Max. Hammerhead. Terrapin. Saber. Defender. The only I got a Mark 1. Is that the only thing I double up on in this? So you can get the D, not the C. Now this is the heavy lifter one, right? This isn't the A1, right? This is just the straight cargo. I would probably rather have what I think is the B1, which is the military dropship version, if I'm honest. But that's probably my favorite of the three, but I don't see anything that's available in here. Yeah, the only thing I double up on is the Super Hornet right there. And I could easily upgrade one of those to, say, a Mark II to get around that. I'll keep my Ghost, my Mark I Ghost, but I could do that. Yeah, so you can get the Hull D here. So the Hull D is available. Hull D is available as a Convoy Pack. The Hull C is available as the Tycoon Pack. These are just... Shall we see? Shall we dream, my friends? If you didn't want to buy a car, like a real car, and you wanted to buy, if you wanted to go into Eve money worth of stuff, what do you get in the 15,000 pack? An 890 Jump, an Idris Frigate, a Pioneer, a Polaris, a Hammerhead, 600i Exploration, the Prowler. I've been looking at that one too. I almost upgraded my Constellation Taurus into that, but I think I'm going to set it on the Constellation because I think the Taurus is going to be good one day. Just like my Carrack will be good one day. And the Touring, so the Exploration and the Touring. The Carrack's in there, Genesis Starliner, Reclaimer, the Phoenix, the Crucible, the Endeavor, the Merchantman. That's pretty much everything. Is it everything? I think it's everything. If it's not everything, it's not everything. It's not all of the fighters. But it's a lot. Wow, it's a lot. Well, if you just want to pay the 15 and be done with it. I don't know, my friends. Anyway, we'll leave this one here. I rambled too long. That's 30 minutes. I meant to be 10 minutes. We'll see you next time. Cheers.